pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Welcome to Miami Homestead Speedway, as we are joined here with the Icon Cup Series at Round 5 at Homestead Miami Speedway. I'm Alan Bergen, just south of St. Louis, here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Studio. And to my right, bringing you with all the action with me is my brother from another mother, Mr. Shane Cochran. Shane, how's it going?
Doing great. How are you, Alan?
Well, look, man, the album's got the entrance that no one heard. Well, you know, it is what it is. But anyways, here we are at Miami Homestead Speedway. You know, 167 laps here. Round number 5. And so far, you know, watching, you know, I've filling in for Jonathan Leach this week. Hope he feels better. I told him pre-race, I said, hey, go get you some NyQuil-induced rest on the couch tonight. But nonetheless, here we are. This is one of John's favorite racetracks, one of mine. It produces great racing, and as you know, Kyle Larson said, all weekend long, you can rip the boards if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Homestead, always a great track. So many lanes to race in. A little bit of a squeeze on exit, but that just means you're going to see slide jobs. You're going to see people giving each other a polite, not so polite bump when that slide job gets pulled off, and it's a reason. There's a reason the NASCAR used this for their finale for so many years, and hopefully we'll be doing that again in the future. It just brings out the best in the best drivers.
Yeah, taking a look at the race information here today, as I learn how to talk, we got an 83-degree ambient temperature. Now it's pretty warm there for March in Miami Homestead. It's 74 degrees or 74% relative humidity, and a partly cloudy sky with a 17-mile-an-hour wind. Now the track temperature and the humidity, that's what's going to make these cars slip and slide all day. And the track temperature is cranked up to 104. I mean, you can almost boil an egg on this racing surface.
You ever tried that, Alan?
You know what? It's been a while, but I have not tried to boil an egg in 104 degree weather here. But nonetheless, here we are at the Icon Cup Series. In the last 3 weeks, John Tillich has been in the booth. You guys have done a great job, and I got to tell you, this is a fun series to watch on a Sunday. I will get tuned in, and watch these guys. But Brian Smith has been making a name for himself in this series, as he has won. He won COTA and he won Vegas. Will he pick up number 3 tonight, or will it be a different, driver in a list of 35 cars?
I don't know. It looks like he is on the pole. He was also fastest in in practice here tonight. He's certainly going to be the driver to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just some other tidbits for the race tonight. We got we do stage racing. And Shane, what laps are we breaking for the stages tonight?
Yeah, so the whole race is 160 laps. We've got stages at 50 and 100. As usual, we have 5 sets of tires. And that fuel window, I am going to expect to be somewhere between 36 and 40 laps, depending on how many cautions you catch or if you're trying to save. But Homestead, not one of those tracks that I think you can do a ton of saving. It's going to be more about tire management than fuel management, if I had to guess.
Well, as these guys get ready to get strapped in, we're going to go ahead and go over that starting grid with you here tonight out of the Buddy Motorsports. As Shane Cochran mentioned or alluded to, Brian Smith puts it on the pole in that number 78 car, and then on his outside will be Jacob Smith. Kyle Gilbert will put that number 227 on the inside of the second row, and to his outside he'll be flanked by Bentley Glazer. Cody Neal will put it on the inside of row number 3, while Hollingsworth will put it on the outside. Braxton DeWeese, that's a fun driver to watch. We'll put it on the inside of row number 4, while Kendall Leveron will put it on the outside. The 2024 ECR champion Tate McDonald will put it on the inside of row number 5, while Patrick Colby will start 10th. Starting 11th will be Nathan Finnegan, and starting 12th will be Adam Ball. Starting 13th will be Sean Purcell, while Kyle Purcell out of the Chicagoland Racing Stable will start 14th. Zach Lockett will start 15th, while Charlie Widener will start 16th. Charles Woods will start 17th, while Zachary King will start 18th. And Shane, you're going to take it away from 19th on back.
Sure. Next up at 19 is Evan Patinko. Beside him, Anthony Teseo. 21st, Kevin Gunther. 22nd, Michael Taylor. And that 12th row will be Steve Tuck and Brock Hersey. 25th is Ethan Venkali. 26th is Michael Jennings. Nathan Berzowski in 27th. Cody Eldred in 28th. Brad Delph and John McNeil make up the rest of your top 30. Ryan Patty in 31st. Robert Bluen in 32nd. Hanover Fist in 33. I think that's my favorite name in the league. And 34, John Ross. 35th, Kyle Diaz. 36, Chris Camburn. And that's going to wrap it up for our starting lineup here at Homestead. Green flag in the air. As we complete lap 1, we're already seeing some 3-wide action in the middle of the field. The 01 car scraping that wall. Sparks flying already.
Yeah, and it didn't take long for these guys to get up on that wall here as we were racing towards lap number 50 for the first stage break. Brian Smith doing what Brian Smith does best, and that's leading the field. Now, here's a name that we haven't seen who would love to put a race together, and that is Braxton DeWeese in that 8 car.
Yeah, he's been running up front all season long. Hasn't been able to finish one out in victory lane just yet. We'll be keeping an eye on him as always. So we're 3 wide again here with Tay McDonald, Patrick Colby. Oh, just a little tap there from Kyle Purcell to Kendall Leveron. No harm, no foul, just saying hello.
Saying hello to indeed. You know, Kyle Purcell, Tay McDonald, he's always fast here. But, you know, John McNeil just went quick time. I mean, shit, I think he's channeling his inner Jimmy Johnson with the 48 car.
Ooh, that's a good one to channel for sure. Jimmy won a lot of championships here at Homestead. He
absolutely did, and if you're going to channel anybody here at Homestead, might as well be him. You know, 7-time Cup Series champion in the real world, and you know, John McNeil has he's put the 48 on his car and he's looking to move forward.
Yeah, up front it looks like Gilbert in the 227 is taking the lead ahead of Nathan Finnegan, with Braxton DeWeese up to 3rd.
Absolutely, and Nathan Finnegan running 2nd there in that 6 car. So far, it's going to be mean and green, but Nathan Finnegan got his quit. He's going to go quick time here.
Yeah, half the field getting faster every lap so far.
No surprise.
Oh, that makes me nervous. Watching from the wall, I think it just looks like they're going to go right into it.
That's I was gonna say that's the best thing about watching these guys run that outside there.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese in the 8 car. Looks like he's running the Janes on Main paint scheme. Looking good.
Oh, they're all looking good here in this Miami sunlight. As we're 7 laps in, and Kyle Gilbert's still doing. No, Nathan Finnegan's going to take the lead. Look at that!
Down low.
They're drag racing.
Yeah, you can't just fly by anyone here at Homestead. You kind of got to work on them for a lap or two to make that bottom line pay off. Finnegan going to be able to do it as Gilbert got a little loose there in the middle of the corner.
There's
Bentley Glazner now up to 3rd.
I was going to say that, yeah, he's up to 3rd in a number 87 car. You know, absent Tuesday night from the Tuesday night league that he runs in the truck series, but here he is. A lot of these guys had this track circled on their calendar for a long while. As Nathan Finnegan is checked out.
That can be the downside of having a favorite track like that, is that it might be everyone's favorite track.
Yeah, there's Tay McDonald up there almost on the wall. He's about 2 lanes off of it. And I don't think he's had anybody venture up there with him.
Hearing a little bit of radio chatter. A reminder to these drivers that the Ross Chastain rule is in effect. You cannot ride the wall to gain an advantage.
Whoa, we got an issue. No harm, no foul. It brings it back on the racing surface.
Is that the 19 car down low in the backstretch there?
It might have been. Yep, it was. Adam Ball has himself a moment. Keeps reported in the right direction. Bentley Glazer up to third. A little bit deeper in the field, though. Charles Woods in that number 98 car. You know, he's down 3 spots in the wrong direction. And just up ahead of him, Charlie Weiner in that area. They're 3 wide. Zach Lockett in the middle of that sandwich.
Yeah, I took a quick look back. It was Adam Ball that got just a little bit loose off of turn 2. No contact with the wall or any other cars. He's got it moving just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're going to do real quick, we're going to go and hop to a commercial break just real quick, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Miami Homestead Speedway. Alan Bergen and Shane Cochran with you here Bringing you Icon action from the Icon Cup Series as we have no caution, but we did see an incident.
Oh, there it is.
Ryan Patty involved.
Yeah, Kendall Leveron on the radio already kind of taking the blame on that one and saying, "Give me that EOL."
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh.
That'll hurt in the morning.
I think it hurts right now.
Caution number 1 here, coming out of lap number 20. You know, and you're gonna head at slick track. I don't think I would classify that as a racing deal. I don't think anybody's really at fault for that one, even though, you know, the 2 car already took the blame.
Yeah, I think it just mistimed it, trying to jump in behind a guy. But yes, I don't think any malintent at all, but really unfortunate for Ryan Patty. Of course, here in the Icon Series, there are no fast repairs. So if he is able to make it back to pit road, he's going to be in for some lengthy repairs.
Well, as you say that, everybody's going to come down pit road.
Yeah, like I said, I'm expecting your fuel window to be between 36-40 laps, so you will be able to make it to that lap 50 stage. From here, everybody coming down to get those tires and fuel.
Well, here we are under caution number 1, 4 calls here on lap number 20. And, you know, there's still a lot of laps. You know, Ryan can definitely get that car fixed. You know, maybe a little bit at a time, you know, as the cautions comes. I mean, he's guaranteed at least 2 cautions, so he might be asking when's the one to go. Get me to yell at one to go. But nonetheless, your current running order right now is Nathan Finnegan. Bentley Glazer currently running second. Kyle Purcell running third. Kyle Gilbert running fourth. In your top 5 is Brexton DeWeese. Now, you know, Coda and Vegas winner Brian Smith, he currently runs 6th right now. But don't count him out. He's one of those guys that, you know, to me, will fly under the radar.
Yeah, I'm going back watching those pits. It looks like there's a mixture of guys taking 2 tires, some taking no tires, and at least 1, 2, 3 drivers are actually getting 4 tires. But the furthest up of those 4 tire strategies is Tay McDonald in 19th. Everyone in front of him either took 2 or no tires, just getting that fuel to hold on to track position.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, here we are, lap number 22, and we're just scratching the surface. But nonetheless, the lights are out on that iRacing.com pace truck, that beautiful Chevy Silverado. As Nathan Finnegan is not in the pits, he is, well, getting ready to go to the Geico restart zone. 3, 2, 1, and we are back to green flag racing here at Miami, lap 23.
Nathan Finnegan already jumping to that high line on turn entry. Taking advantage of a gap he's able to get there as Gilbert is peeking inside.
Whoa, we're wide.
3 and whoa. I don't know how they got out of that clean, but they did.
One of the 4 thought better of it.
And it's now Bentley Glazer in the 87 Mountain Dew machine moves into second place. Gilbert and DeWeese hot on his bumper.
Here comes Brian. I was going to say, Brian Smith, here he comes. He's
right there just watching.
Oh, boy, lap 25, 23 in the books here. And these guys are ditching up to that high line.
Oh, that's Kyle Purcell. Kisses the wall one more time.
I mean, that's just that looks like, is that a laughing face emoji?
It's it's sure something.
Oh boy, gotta love that repo.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, he gets in the 4 car. That's Jacob Smith. He tags as we watch it live here. Tay McDonald up there and grabs a little bit more of the wall.
Yeah, I think Smith was hoping to get to the outside of Patrick Colby, and Colby kind of shut the door on him, and it sent the 4 up into the wall just a little bit.
How about this? The story of the race so far is Nathan Finnegan jumps out to a 1 second lead, and that's the eyeball test right there. 1 second. That's what 1 second looks like over Braxton DeWeese. Now, here's the thing, Shane, that I want to touch on with Braxton. I've seen him win a lot of races, but it seems like Lady Luck is just not on his side here in this series so far this year.
Yeah, it just seems like a matter of time before he's able to put a whole race together.
He will get there.
That's DeWeese in second. Brian Smith now in third. Kyle Gilbert back to 4th place.
Yeah, there's that 227 car just, with 160 laps, Shane, you almost want to play the long game. I say on short track, you want to play the short game. But I feel like on the 1.5 miles, you can play a little bit of a longer strategy and think long term. We're going to have these long runs.
Yeah, the other thing in play here with the fuel run being, just under 40 laps and the stages being 50, you do have an opportunity to kind of undercut the stage, come in and pit, and then stay out when the stage is out, because everyone's still going to have to pit one time in that stage, and if you only got a few laps on your tires, which certainly doesn't seem to be a problem for these guys who stayed out or took 2, or not stayed out, but didn't take any tires or took 2 tires. As we see McDonald moving up through the field, he is that highest running car on 4 tires in the 29.
Right now, around that 13th, 14th, 15th position, there's more action back here than there is at the Waffle House at 3 a.m.
Guess it depends on the Waffle House.
I mean, Whoa, here we go. We got a little bit of blockage going on.
Hollinsworth saying, I like this low line. I'm not going to give it to you. But he gets loose and has to give it up anyway. McDonald goes by him and the 31 of Kevin Gunther. McDonald now up 6 positions since the restart.
Yeah, he's finally starting to move in the right direction. And this series has definitely challenged him all season long. And he's qualified good. And he just one of those guys that's had bad luck all season long. But he's got to get a win here. He's going to break through and drive around in Newton, Iowa. Takes
looking
it 3 wide.
He's going to get it done. Under Patrick Colby. Setting his sights on Adam Ball. And Kyle Purcell. As they're all kind of coming up and catching John Ross in the 44.
I feel like this is the best view. You can actually, because right now the cameras show it no justice right now of all the different lines these guys are running, especially about the top 13, top 12. As they're gonna go 3 wide once again, John Ross. The meat and the sandwich.
You can really see those 4 tires paying off as he thinks about going 4 wide. He's gonna do it.
Whoa! No!
Oh no!
John Ross gets out of shape, saves it though. No, he doesn't. Please stay green.
I think he's okay. What'd you see there, Alan? Sitting in the blimp, it sure looked like a little bit of net code, but they were close.
And John Ross has got a whole lot of damage. We're going to keep an eye on that and see how that story unfolds. But it looks like just a little bit of... I call it the sweet spot of the bumpers, Shane. John Ross is going to come down there on the pit road, skid the tires, and he's mad. Not the way you want that race to go.
Oh, I'm gonna pull up a replay for you to see how that all played out. Because there was a couple other cars, I believe, made some contact with him. Oh, and the 31, I think. Huge contact. I'll get you that replay in just a second here.
Meanwhile, right around the top four, so the top five are getting pretty spread out fairly quickly. Michael Taylor in that number 08 car is up 17 spots as he's playing defense from Kyle Gilbert and Tay McDonald. Bentley Glazer just a little bit further back. In that number 38 car, he's one of the few cars that have ventured out to the wall. And here's that replay once again. The 01 car is up there. Yeah, it looks like just a little bit of net code, and looks like Tay McDonald tried to save him. 31 cars involved in that.
All right, and then looks like Cody Neal and Tay McDonald with damage on this caution as well.
Yeah, we'll have to find out what happened there. But nonetheless, lap 37, we're under the second caution torque clause here tonight. Alan Bergen and Shane Cochran with you, bringing you all the action from the Icon Cup Series. Want to send Jonathan Leach well wishes and a speedy recovery. He should be back next week as he's just battling a little bit of strep throat. And Shane, you know, when you don't feel well, it's hard to do anything.
Oh, for sure. Hard to focus enough when you're, you know, in a field this skilled and speeds like this on this hot, slick track. Being sick is only going to make it worse.
Absolutely. And, you know, here we are, lap 38. Like I said, second caution for cause here. We're working our way to lap 50. You know, 50 laps first stage and then 100 laps second stage. Iracing just redid a NASCAR update. They did a NASCAR update. And this is one of the first tracks that they fixed. And I got to tell you, I'm loving the update. These cars are a little bit looser. And you can, you know, if you know what you're doing in these cars, like this league does, these guys will hustle these cars around this racetrack.
For sure. And we're already seeing the speed differential between tire strategies. I believe that caution started with some contact between Tay McDonald and Gilbert. And then they got up into a handful of other drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% correct. And just to piggyback off of you, I want to take a minute and thank everybody for tuning in here live on your phones in your homes, whether it be on a 5-inch screen, a 9-inch screen, or in my case a 55-inch flat screen. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. Shout out who you're rooting for tonight. We'll get those guys on screen. Chris DeWeese saying good evening. Shouting out Braxton DeWeese in that number 8 car. And he says once they get that win, it turns into a floodgate. So, nonetheless, Shay, we're lined up 2x2 Noah's Ark style behind that iRacing.com pace car.
And Brian Smith is right there on the front row.
I'm gonna make you laugh tonight.
I think that's the game we're always playing. This is what happens when you get two jokesters in the booth at the same time.
Well, I can tell you what, two guys that aren't joking about this restart. One, Nathan Finnegan, and Brian Smith, looking to do Brian Smith type things as we get ready to come back to a green flag restart. Down and away, and we are green flag racing. And that is just a beautiful start right there. I just love it. I just love that view whenever those cars come screaming down that front straightaway. And here we are, just, oh my goodness. Lap 40 to 60, got 10 laps to go to the stage break here, and don't look now, here comes Adam Ball in that number 19 car.
Yeah, he's been one of the drivers up close near the wall, really making it work for him so far. Not too close to the wall that time, but expect him to get a run here on exit. Patrick Colby's looking underneath of him.
And you mentioned Patrick Colby there in that number 28 car. He's going underneath Adam Ball. Looking. And look, here comes the 48 car. John McNeil up 22 spots. Almost shadowing his inner Carl Edwards as he's almost riding that wall.
Hearing some complaints on the radio from Sean Purcell. Not sure if there was some contact further back in the field on that restart.
Matt Everett shouting out Jacob Smith in the Midwest Euro Parts car. There's Jacob Smith, as I learned hooked on phonics. Northville, Michigan's own.
Ooh, we did have some contact back in the field on the restart, and caution's out again.
Ooh, no. And this one's showing Cody Neal has crashed. And Tammy Allen's involved, and Kyle Gilbert's involved, and oh man. Let's see, we caught the tail end of that. Let's see if we can't find out what happened. And
I think this is the one from much earlier, Alan. I think the one you're looking for right now is Chris Camburn.
yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
I'll get it right eventually. Looks like he just gets a lot of it loose.
Yeah, it's just like you mentioned, these cars, when first coming into iRacing, it seemed like you couldn't even get them loose. You couldn't get the cars to rotate. Now as iRacing gets them a little more close to the real life next gen, and the next gens in real life dial in a little more oversteer, that happens. That's the second time we've seen a driver get loose completely on their own early in a run. And that first chance, or the first instance of that, we saw someone save it. That instance there, not so lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. As we are 45 laps in, I would imagine that this won't be the stage just yet. I think we're going to do a shootout to the end of the stage, which I love shootouts. Looks like we have some contact in the back of the field on a restart. Let's take a look at that. Oh, we're under caution. Here's that restart here, and looks like the 31 car is going to make just a little bit of... Ooh,
the 99 clips the apron. Starts a chain reaction there.
yeah, he had 99 problems, and the 31 was one. got a chuckle.
You're getting there.
Nonetheless, these guys are going to get lined up one more time for a start. That, this is what I would call a quickie caution. Chris DeWeese says a 65-inch television. Woohoo! Hey, look, Icon's that much bigger that it's worthy of my 65-inch television. Nonetheless, here we go, lined up 2x2. Noah's Ark style here behind that Iracing Chevy Silverado.
Yeah, and through the difference between this and the last one is that Braxton DeWeese now on the front row ahead of Brian Smith, who's in third. The 08 of Michael Taylor up to fourth.
I'm not going to mention Braxton DeWeese right now because, well, I don't want to invoke the announcer's curse. Here we go. The iRace.com pace car brings that, or pace truck, I should say, brings the field through the two turns 3 and 4 complex. As I have a complex on where they're not at right now, but Barney's got the green flag in hand, and we're going to do a 4-lap shootout to the stage break. Braxton DeWeese, Nathan Finnegan going to bring the field to green, and we are back to green flag racing. 3 laps to go in stage number 1.
That's the best restart that outside lane has had all day.
It's the best restart
Sticking
I've
right
had.
with the leader.
Braxton DeWeese looking to make a name for himself. Get those stage points. He's looking underneath Brian Smith, thinking about the 2-for-1 special.
Not quite able to get there. I think he's going to carry a lot of speed off the corner.
Oh, he's going to get a little bit loose.
Yeah, I think he was worried that Smith would be there on his outside and he wouldn't be able to get to the wall, playing it safe. Probably the right decision at this point in the race, but really hoping to get that stage win there as he's going to clear Smith on exit. Set his sights on Nathan Finnegan in the 6 car.
He's got a little bit of time. He's got 2 laps. I would imagine pit road would be closed this time by. Oh, he gets a little bit loose. Meanwhile, don't want to take anything away from back here. We're in this conundrum of cars.
Woo! We got cars all the way down on the white line, cars all the way up riding the wall, 3 wide. Sparks flying.
And they finally get themselves sorted out for a moment. Looks like Nathan Finnegan gonna win stage number 1.
I think there was a little bit of contact there between McNeil and I think there was Zach Lockett in the 93. Whoever was in front got in the wall, and the driver right behind him couldn't check up in time. They both lost a few positions there at the end of the lap.
Well, I'm tripping because we're going to one more lap. It'll be at the completion of lap 50. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Nathan Finnegan. What if I would have Steve Harvey, Nathan Finnegan? If you know, you know, right?
He's looking pretty hard to beat right now.
Nathan Finnegan looking sporty there in stage number 1, picking up stage 1 win. Braxton DeWeese finishes second in stage 1. Brian Smith round out the top 3. Jacob Smith, Kyle Purcell, Kyle Diaz, Adam Ball, Patrick Colby, Kendall Levront, and Zach Lockett will be your top 10 at the end of stage 1. And
yeah, Finnegan's up 10 positions from where he started in the race. Leading, feeling pretty good. But as I look back in 6th place, you mentioned Kyle Diaz. He's up 29 positions since the start of this race.
yeah, I mean, he's one of those drivers. I mean, you've had a chance to watch him on Saturday nights here recently, and you know he's another one of those drivers that will just fly under the radar, if you will.
Yeah, he was a driver I was watching last night in the ECR Cup League. And it looks like he's really carrying some momentum here in stage 1.
As they're going to come down for wholesale pit stops. When they come up pit road, we will talk to our stage 1 winner, Nathan Finnegan. We don't like to talk to people when they're coming down pit road.
Yeah, I'm listening to that driver radio. There's I don't know what I call it, a little sass between drivers on opinions for this first stage. We've seen a lot of drivers get taken out of the race with damage, a lot of drivers getting in the wall, and probably more cautions than I would have expected here with Icon.
Oh, and Nathan Finnegan coming off pit road. We're going to go ahead and talk to Mr. Nathan. Nathan, it's Alan and Shane up in the SRM booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I hear you guys.
Hey, look, man. First of all, congratulations on winning stage number 1. What's it going to take to keep that car out there, that 6 car, moving in the right direction?
Yeah, I feel like it's set up so far tonight. It's pretty balanced. Feels really good on both ends of the track. We can run high, we can run low, and yeah, I think if we just can continue to manage our pace and keep clean air, that'll be huge for us to continue to rack up stage points tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, right now it looks like you're going to be starting in that 4th position. It looks like Brian Smith the last couple weeks has been hard to beat. You know, what's it going to take to kind of keep him in your rearview mirror? And if he gets by you, what can you learn from him as we get ready to go back to green?
Yeah, Brian's a really, really good driver. Definitely a lot of respect for the 78 camp. And yeah, I mean, I feel like we run pretty similar lines most tracks. And, you know, if he ends up getting by me, there's probably some things that I could pick up, and whether it be corner entry, corner exit, that hopefully we can apply to the 6 machine. And hopefully we don't have to find out, though, and we can just keep this thing out front all day.
All right, man. Well, good luck, and hopefully we'll be talking to you on the other side.
Hey, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
And that was Nathan Finnegan out of the CCR ECR camp, that contingent there. And Shane, we're getting ready to go back to green.
Yeah, I think we've got a couple drivers playing some strategy here. Kyle Purcell in the 01, Brad Delph in the 72. Got Hollinsworth in the 97. All using that pit strategy to come to the front, get some track position.
Well, here we go. Lap number 54. Coming back to green flag toward the start of stage number 2. Iracing.com pulls off on the pit road. Purcell, Delph on the button, and we are green flag racing to start stage 2.
Yeah, we'll see how these old tires hold on. Purcell, 17 laps since his last pit. Brad Delph, 10 laps since his last pit, and he is already losing ground to some of those folks in the top 5.
Well, just as you said that, here comes Nathan Finnegan. He is up on the high side, looking high, wide, and handsome as he is running that Kyle Larson line. There it is, right there.
It looks like the 97 car came in, but only took fuel onto the stage. That's how he got up there.
Hollins were trying to stave off that 01 car of Kyle Purcell, but Nathan Finnegan making that high side work as we got a car out of shape just a little bit further back. And that would be the 4 car of Jacob Smith. He's going to go 3 wide with that number 98 car of Charles Woods.
Oh, they're squeezing together off exit. Oh,
Almost like orange
just makes
juice.
me nervous. Whew.
Well, you mentioned a few minutes ago of Hollingsworth not taking tires, and he goes ahead and sets fast time.
Oh, was that? I think that was Purcell up the track, really tight, almost into the wall, losing a couple positions. I'm not sure if he got a little bit of help or not on that one.
Brian Smith going high side, trying to figure out a way around Nathan Finnegan. There's the story. 0.2 of a second lead. Dennis Luis checking in, saying, let's get a W tonight. I mean, Braxton is driving his heart out right now. He's got 50, a little over 50, 2 laps to go here in second stage till we get to 100.
Jeff Hollinsworth trying to hold on.
And
Finnegan is giving a shove to Deweese to help him by.
And the Deweeses are screaming loudly.
Yeah, that's Chris and Dennis Deweese in the YouTube chat letting us know they're here all night, cheering on Braxton. Now in the lead.
If Nathan Finnegan has anything to say out of Coventry, Rhode Island, he won't be there long. I just love these onboards. Right now, Brian Smith out of Northville, Michigan. It's a Michigander. I don't know why they like Fords up there, but they do.
Ford's hometown.
Guess. A little bit deeper in the field in that top 10 out of Vestal, New York. Via Catawba, North Carolina. Zach Lockett there in that number 93 car. And he is one of those very talented drivers.
Yeah, I like the way he did that. I'm always wondering how long do you have to live in a new city before that becomes your hometown?
I have no idea. I mean, I would feel weird, being from St. Louis and then just pack it up and moving halfway across the country. As we come back out to the wide shot, Braxton Deweese in control of this race. Chris Deweese saying, take time to take control. Let's go, number 8. Hear you, BDR fans. Let's go. And there's the eyeball test. I wish we could double box this and some of the other battles going on. And we do have the technology. Maybe we could do it. Just saying.
I think we'll have to submit that for the next iRacing update.
Well, here comes, speaking of iRacing update, here comes John McNeil in that number 48 car. He's just out there, at this stage of the game, Shane, you just want to log laps. You don't want to do nothing egregious. We're 64 laps in. We're almost to the century mark, if you will. And
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. If you're in the top 5, yeah, that feels good. Let's just cruise. If you're in the back half of this field, you've got to find a way to get track position, though, to set yourself up for the end of the race.
Absolutely. And, and coming back to the field, Ryan Patty taking an extended stay, like Holiday Inn on pit road. John Ross so far will win the race at the beer stand. Not a race you want to win, Shane, but someone's got to win it. Tay McDonald out of Newton, Iowa. He won't win the race at the beer stand, but he'll be right behind John Ross. Cody Neal,
that lap right before there, we saw Evan Patinko right up against the wall. If he didn't touch it, he was thinking about it.
Oh.
Contact there with Delph. Remember Brad Delph on those older tires. He's going to be struggling to keep up that pace with the rest of the field. Looks like everyone's sorted out.
And we're too wide.
Saw Evan Patinko way up by the wall a lap or two ago. Maybe scraped it. And ever since then, he said, hey, I'm going to go down low, stay in the middle, give myself a little buffer.
You know, here's why I run the high side, because if you hit the wall, it doesn't hurt so bad.
But you don't have much time to try and save it though when you lose it.
I mean, I'd rather just park it on the wall and stay out of everybody's way. I'm what you would call a rolling roadblock. But here's the story of the night. Braxton Deweese up 6 spots. Nathan Finnegan up 9. Brian Smith 2 spots in the wrong direction. But he sees his pole spot up there, or he sees the spot he wants to be in.
Yeah, Brian Smith, our points leader with 2 wins already. And Finnegan and Deweese are 4th and 5th in points, just behind Ryan Patty, who's probably going to have a bad points night. You can kind of think of this as a battle for 3rd place in the standings, not just 1st place in the race.
Oh, Nathan Finnegan, a little bit of a, well, we're not Darlington, but we'll call it a Homestead stripe. Now, taking a look at the schedule, I did look at that earlier. Next week, we're going short track racing at Martinsville.
Completely different than Homestead. You better hope you don't make any enemies here in Miami before you head to Southwest Virginia.
So we got Martinsville, then we go to Darlington, and then we go to Bristol. 3 very tough tracks. You know, and then we go to California. There on April 3rd, 20th. And then the 27th, we're going NASCAR racing Dixie style from Talladega. But you're absolutely correct, Shane, to piggyback off your point. You don't want to make, I want to call them frenemies, because they might be your enemy at Martinsville, and Darlington's a hard track anyways, and Bristol. A good opportunity to get some payback before you get to the bigger tracks.
As Brian Smith looks underneath Finnegan. Oh, he's going to scrape the wall on exit, but get the pass completed.
That's okay. Here we are working lap number 71. A little bit deeper into the field. Everybody's pretty well single filed out now. As we're back here looking at Bentley Glazer in an 87 car. This is what our live timing is deemed the most exciting thing on the racetrack right now. Mountain Dew is pretty exciting, I will say that.
Oh yeah. I've been. I have a 5-year-old and 2 kids younger than that. I'm already starting to think of how can I both protect them from Mountain Dew and also enjoy it with them when they're old enough.
Kyle Purcell in that 01 car. He's gonna go ahead and dive down in the pit road. And you know, this is what I love: green flag pit stops.
Yeah, he had 34 laps since his last pit stop. He stayed out at that stage caution, so it's time to come.
Working lap 73. Oh man, Zach Lockett there. He's one of those other drivers that sort of figured out the high side. You know, he's a hell of a super speedway racer. You know, I would be looking out for him once we get to the tracks like Talladega and Daytona. You know, he's pretty good on the 1.5 miles. Don't forget next Sunday at 8:10 Eastern, catch Jonathan Leach and Shane Cochran to bring you all the action from the Icon Cup Series as they go to West Virginia and Martinsville. And it's Shane, I love watching races there, but I hate driving that racetrack.
Ooh, yeah, I was there, let's see, 15 years ago to watch Denny Hamlin win when he had a ruptured ACL. Great track to visit. You can see the whole thing, all the action. But yeah, I certainly get a little nervous racing there, especially especially depending on how many friends and enemies you have on the track, like you mentioned.
Oh man, yeah, definitely. Now, when you went there, did you get you a Martinsville hot dog?
Oh, I think I had 10 or 12 of those.
I think that's a staple there.
Yeah, it was a great race. It was a rained out race, and I went to college just down the road from there. Was able to get some really cheap tickets, take a couple buddies, catch the race on Monday. It was great.
Well, I tell you what, right now, Braxton DeWeese would love to have rain right now. If they had virtual rain and iRacing at the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway, well, this would be Braxton DeWeese's day. We are now
Smith right on the bumper. You can see Smith poking his nose out, just half a car length, getting a little clean air.
Oh, there he goes.
Smart turn, and he's looking.
Oh, a little bit of contact. And there it is.
DeWeese might try to cross him over. He's going to get inside.
They're drag racing.
Yeah, he's not going to give it up.
Battles back, slides up, nice. That's what I like to call a textbook slide job. Stage 1 winner, just right behind them, biding his time, letting those guys burn their tires off. A little bit deeper in the field, there's that 48 car of John McNeil. He's right around that Charles Woods and Evan Patinko area.
Yeah, again, hearing some chatter on the radio. I think there was contact between the 2 of Levron, the 4 of Jacob Smith. Nobody got in the wall there. Didn't lose any positions or anything.
No harm, no foul, just a close quarters racing. Now, next week when we go to Martinsville, you should use the phrase, bent sheet metal and hurt feelings. 'Cause that's what it's going to be. A little bit deeper in the field, there's the number 08 car of Michael Taylor. Up 13 spots, currently running 9th. Charlie Widener, who we get to see on Tuesday nights, he's running in at top 10, and we got green flag pit stops.
Yeah, 20 laps to go in the stage. You kind of have your choice of when in the stage to grab some fuel. We'll see if they take tires or just a splash. Looks like McNeil's at least going to take right sides. He's getting all 4.
And that's the cool thing about this league is, is we got, Brian Smith and Braxton DeWeese. You could possibly flip this stage. You got 5 tire sets for 160 laps. At what point do you pull the trigger and say, do you use the end of the first stage and then most of the second stage on one set of tires, and then in that third stage, because you're going to have at least 2 pit stops in the third stage.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Those 2 drivers that tried to flip the stage last time, Brad Delph, he's the best of those folks. He fell all the way back to 16th. I think that might have still been a net gain from where he was before that, but it sure didn't look like it would be fun to be on the old tires.
Well, here comes Braxton DeWeese and Brian Smith. They're coming up on lap cars now. And the first car ahead of these guys, well, that would be I believe that's a 7 car?
74, Sean Purcell, I believe.
Okay. Yeah,
He's
you're
had
absolutely right.
A rough night so far, some contact multiple times. Really not having the race he wanted. He was leading laps last week. Not able to finish in victory lane, but was having a great run early on in the race.
Yeah, you're 100% correct there. We're coming up on a ooh, that Ford Mustang that looks like this is a car that stands out to me that I believe it's the 85 car. Yeah, Ethan Van Coley
Ooh, as he
And-
scrapes the wall.
trying to stay out of his own way.
Yeah, that is a nice Rainbow Warrior throwback.
Lap traffic.
And youth cars.
I'd say lap traffic will come into play here. As Dennis DeWeese says halfway, let's get it done. Braxton? Well, Braxton DeWeese has been the show all night long.
Yeah, I think the big gamble here, as always, is the earlier you pit, the more vulnerable you are to getting caught a lap down if a caution were to come out. As Nathan Finnegan joins this party once again underneath Brian Smith as Brian goes up to the wall, try and build some momentum and defend that second
Oh, what a
position.
slide job!
Ooh. I think he could have gotten down low and tried to go under Finnegan, but instead he decides to push him. It's going to give him some momentum as they go into the turn. DeWeese just watching this in his mirror.
Here comes Nathan Finnegan. I thought Finnegan was going to try for that 2-for-1 special, but here he comes on the outside of Braxton DeWeese. Puts it up on the cushion, rips the boards, if you will.
Yeah, DeWeese has found a unique lane here. He's about a width and a half up off the white line. It's giving him kind of the entry of a low line, but letting him carry speed out of the corner like the high line, keeping those guys from getting momentum on him on the straightaways.
Well, right now, Braxton DeWeese is keeping Nathan Finnegan pretty honest.
These drivers are now 35 laps into this fuel run. They're not going to be able to go much longer.
Oh,
But they've got most of the field trapped a lap down as there are now only 14 cars on the lead lap as folks are going through the pit cycles.
Charles Woods coming off pit road. At what point do you say break time?
Yeah, 11 laps to the end of the stage.
There's the 99 car, the Cartoon Network car. Oh, I love that car. Robert Bloom. Adam Ball's on pit road. So is Jacob Smith. Nathan Finnegan finally. Well, never mind.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You know, last stage we saw people taking splashes of fuel, 2 tires. Looking through the pit stops, almost everyone getting 4 tires here. Anthony Teseo, the furthest up driver who's taken 2 tires, he's up to 11th. Oh, I'm sorry, that he hasn't pitted yet. It's actually Adam Ball is the furthest up of anyone who's pitted so far.
As
Running
you're gonna see some of these guys we're gonna see a mixture of clouds and sunshine today. Taking a look at that weather one more time as we are approaching the century mark here. 80 degrees and that track temperature is down there to that. It's almost to the witching hour there. 94 degree track temperature. The humidity has fallen a little bit too, and it's 80 degrees. Starting to cool off. Braxton DeWeese finally brings it on pit road. Giving the race to Nathan Finnegan. But while these guys are commencing in pit stops, we're going to go take a moment, go side by side, and we'll be right back here on Sim Racing Media. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Miami Homestead Speedway. Wow. Alan Bergen and Shane Cochran here with you, bringing you all the action here on Sim Racing Media. And Braxton DeWeese does best, and that's lead races. And Shane, we just got through with green flag pit stops. And
yeah, we're going to finish the stage right there. Braxton DeWeese gets the stage win. And he and Finnegan both taking just a splash of fuel on their stop, coming out with a pretty big gap over Brian Smith, 3 or 4 seconds. Finnegan was initially in the lead as we were watching on that commercial break, but Braxton was able to get by him. Finnegan crossed him over once or twice, and then Braxton was able to gap him just a little bit. Some of the best side-by-side action we've seen all day.
yeah, absolutely. And these guys have been running each other hard and saving their stuff, but nonetheless, these guys are going to take their pit stops, maybe, and we'll have a quick chat with Braxton DeWeese. As I believe pits should be open this time by. We don't want to bring in the winners of the stages, so they come off pit road, or if they're not going off pit road, then, which I mean I would imagine that these guys would be, because they're 40 lap tires, and here they come.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hodgepodge here. There were, like I said, drivers taking 4 tires under green. These front runners, I think, all took a splash only.
Just to get into the end of the stage.
Right. So, but if you have to take your tires now, you might give up a little bit of track position. Some of those guys who aren't going to take tires. We'll see who gets to jump to the front here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we look for Mr. Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, it looks like he's taking 4 tires. We see Kendall Leveron already out ahead of him. Oh, what a great race there at the end of pit road between DeWeese, Finnegan, and Smith.
Well, we would talk to our stage 2 winner, but he is MIA. No harm, no foul. Maybe we'll get to talk to him on the other end.
Yeah, if Chris or Dennis is talking to Braxton, and he can jump into a voice channel or the waiting room, perhaps, in Discord, we'd be able to interview him here under caution. There he is for you, Alan. If you want to pull him in.
Braxton, it's Alan and Shane up in the SRM Links. Got a copy.
I got you.
Hey, real quick, first of all, congratulations on that stage 1 win. This is probably going to be the shortest interview we've ever done. But take us through that stage, and what's going to be your strategy as we get back to going green here?
Yeah, going into that last stage, the beginning, just wanted to try to get to clean air or just have as close to the front as possible. I know the clean air was a big deal, so we were able to get to that. I felt pretty comfortable. We were able to put up a solid pace. The fellas behind were catching, but we were able to have some pretty good battles with both of them before the pit stop and after the pit stop. We took just enough fuel to be able to come right out behind Nathan there and then have a battle to be able to pass him. But right here, we're going to have to pit at least once. We'll just see when we pit. I'm not too sure. I'm going to figure that out, but we'll see how we do here.
All right, well, congratulations on that stage win, and good luck.
Thank you.
As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, and here we go. Green flag racing, as we are on board with Nathan Finnegan coming up through the gearbox.
Oh, Smith cuts down in front of Deweese. Inside of Lebron. He's going to get to the lead.
Brian Smith doing Brian Smith things.
So we see Finnegan once again kind of use that bump to help push somebody else by, hoping to follow him.
And just as you say that, we got a whole conundrum of cars. Bentley Glazer back there, 9 spots in the wrong direction.
Glazer and Brzezowski are both up there wall riding. The 77 almost gets into Charles Woods.
There's Evan Patinko there on the inside of Kevin Gunther and Nathan Bruskowski. Comes Zach Lockett getting into the mix now. Please stay green.
Zach Lockett running 19th. Here right in the middle of all that battle is back at the front. Finnegan is
He went
caught
purple.
Brian Smith.
He went purple.
Fastest lap of the race right there for Nathan Finnegan.
And Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan slowly driving away from Braxton DeWeese. So far, Nathan Finnegan is the first driver in the race to run a sub 32 lap. A sub 33 lap, rather. And I hope they get this all sorted out soon.
Woo. Bentley Glazer down low under Michael Taylor. Squeeze up on Kyle Diaz in the 26. He's kind of been up and down. We mentioned at one point he had gained 26 or so positions, and then he through the pit strategy dropped back. Now he's back up here again in the top 10.
3 wide, 3 wide, 3 wide. 61 to go. We're doing St. Louis math, okay?
It was like, what? It's 50 to go.
Yeah. Now it is.
But yeah, as we mentioned here, so a 60-lap run to finish up the race here in stage 3. It's the
Whoa, we got
furthest.
trouble. We got trouble. Charles Woods involved.
going around.
Here it is. Charles Woods just gets. And that's sort of. Oh, man.
Just like either maybe he didn't know he was 3 wide, or he was thinking that middle lane car would be a little closer to the wall. They just come together there and get turned around. Not too many cars involved.
Let's go. On board with Kevin Gunther there. And oh no. And everybody's coming down for wholesale pit stops. You know, Shane, you've been on a couple of broadcasts with me here now. We're gonna pick on some people. Maybe.
Oh?
Maybe.
Again, just 10 laps into that run. We've got 3 cars here at the front. John McNeil, Kyle Purcell, I'm looking at the wrong list here. John McNeil. No, it is Kyle Purcell and Anthony Teseo. All deciding to stay out here, gain some track position, see what they can do with it.
Okay, we're gonna pick on them next time. Because we're gonna get lined up 2 by 2, Noah's Ark style behind that Iracing.com pace car.
Yeah.
John McNeil, Kyle Purcell staying out. Anthony Teseo staying out.
Yeah, behind them, Nathan Brzezowski. He came in, but he only took a splash of fuel, as did Brad Delph, who's in 7th. Everyone else looks like they took 4 tires.
So we're gonna have a little over 46 laps to go here. You gotta check my math and break out the calculators, okay?
That's what I'm saying. We've got 47 to go. We've got a 40-lap fuel window. That's like maybe the biggest outside chance that someone might gamble and try to make it without stopping. It's going to be really tough to do. But if you see someone 3 or 4 seconds off the pace, that might be what they're going for.
Oh, here we go. Shane, you get to bring us back to green, my guy.
All right, we've got the 48 of John McNeil pace truck coming down pit road as they come into the Geico restart zone. The green flag is out. We are underway again here in Stage 3, Homestead, Miami for the Icon Cup Series. McNeil getting a great restart. Already a half-second gap back to second place.
We're 3 wide already. Nathan Finnegan goes 3 wide.
Yeah, early in the race. Oh, go ahead.
I'd say Brian Smith meeting a sandwich. Here comes Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, earlier in the race, we were talking about, hey, it's time to play the long game and take your time. That is all over. 45 laps to go. You've got to get yourself up into that top 5 to be in contention. Call a great pit stop decision here in the final. Oh, as Finnegan gets loose, has to check up, and Braxton DeWeese gets into him from behind. We've got another car going down the apron.
I believe
no caution.
I believe that was Jacob Smith in that 4 car. He's going to keep it pointed in the right direction. You remember how I said there was more action in the Waffle House at 3 a.m.?
I do. Couldn't forget it.
These guys have imploded the Waffle House. And they're still going 3 wide. Oh my God, that's so nerve-wracking. Levron gets a 2-for-1 special.
Ooh-wee.
Oh boy. No. Widener. Here's Jacob Smith with his checkup. And
yeah, I think Jacob Smith here in the 4, he sees the contact between Finnegan, checks up, but the 28 doesn't have time to check up as fast. Gets into him, he saves it. Rejoins, no problem. Lost some positions, but it could have been a lot worse.
I think he'll take that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Kyle Purcell, John McNeil, and Nathan. It's the battle of the Nathans. Nathan Finnegan low.
Yeah, Finnegan making quick work of Brzezowski as we see him scraping the wall. Again, Brzezowski, McNeil, and Purcell are on older tires.
So here's my thing, right? Okay. So here at like the short tracks and like Phoenix, and you know, we're testing that softer tire compound, right? I wholeheartedly hope they roll that out for all the NASCAR tracks that we go to. Because I think it brings a whole other strategy in. You know, do you start the run on softs? Do you play the long game and go to that harder tire?
I agree. I think, it was 77 in the wall again. I think the reason NASCAR is being so slow to kind of roll that out, I assume, is that they don't want to roll out a soft tire that starts to blow and give way and have cars wrecking into the wall at a high-speed 1.5 or 2 mile track. That's why we've mostly only seen it at Bristol and
Whoa,
Richmond.
we got contact. Things are getting hot and heavy like a soap opera here in the front.
As Finnegan assumes the lead, 39 laps to go. Brian Smith underneath of Kyle Purcell. Just behind him. Not quite able to get there yet as Finnegan starts to pull away.
Yeah, I would say it, but I'm not going to say it. But if you're, Smith, Purcell, or Deweese, the sands of the hourglass are starting to run out for those guys. Purcell going to grab a little bit of the wall. Braxton Deweese going to slide up right in front of Purcell. Here comes Braxton Deweese going to work on Brian Smith in that number 78 car. Oh, we got trouble.
I'm hearing Teseo on the radio, not too happy about it.
There's just something about that backstretch cam that I just love. But there he is, Nathan Finnegan out to a half-second lead over Braxton Deweese. Braxton Deweese putting together a strong run here tonight. Looking to be on top of the podium at the end of this one. But, it's funny that it's Chevy, Ford, Toyota. The highest running Toyota right now is Kyle Purcell in that number 01 car. And here's that issue with Anthony Teseo. Here we go. And
I believe it's the 32 car. They catch bumpers on exit.
oh no. Keeps it pointed in the right direction. No harm, no foul. Just loses wholesale positions coming back onto the racetrack. But there's your highest running Toyota back there in fourth. It's Kyle Purcell in that 01 car. John McNeil back there in that 48 car. Stuck 3 wide.
And a 77 really making a habit of kissing the wall on exit
I mean, is he trying to
and
take
on
the,
entry.
Is he trying to take the wall on a date?
Oh,
I'm just saying, maybe we should buy the wall dinner first.
Oh, a little bit of contact back behind them. McNeil. And
Widener getting in.
95.
Charlie Widener getting into John McNeil there. Lap 129, 128 laps in the history books. You know, and this track has overcame a lot of changes. You know, back in the mid-2000s, they had progressive banking here.
That's right. Very different track.
And before then, it actually was like a square almost. But one thing that remains unchanged is that row of palm trees down the back straightaway. Survived a couple hurricanes in its day. And they actually run a couple of marathons here.
Huh.
Yeah, it holds a triathlon. There's a triathlon that runs in Miami, and it ends in the ocean. But nonetheless, they start out here at Miami Homestead Speedway, and they run to the ocean.
So we have 29 to go. I've got my trivia question for you, Alan.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, here we go. Can you name, for the current layout of Homestead Miami, that's from 2003 on, what driver has recorded the fastest lap? I'll give you 2 hints. It wasn't in a NASCAR, and this driver raced in both IndyCar and NASCAR.
It kind of, well, oh man. I want to say Tony Stewart.
It was actually Sam Hornish Jr. in 2004.
I was close.
Oh yeah, that lap was a 24.6, almost 10 seconds faster than what our drivers are running here in this next gen car.
You know, I tell you what, though, IndyCar racing here at Homestead is like no other, and you know, I love watching Indy cars. If you can get out to an IndyCar race, go. Nathan Finnegan doing Nathan Finnegan things. 1 second ahead of Brian Smith.
As we're now about halfway through this run, might expect to see some people start to pit if their plan was to split the stage evenly.
If you're Nathan Finnegan, Brian Smith, or Braxton DeWeese, you're going to make your bed and lie in it. It's Charlie Widener, Jacob Smith, and Hollinsworth comes down pit road. Kyle Diaz already on pit road. Michael Jennings coming on the pit road. I don't think the top 3 pit. I think they hold faith that they've saved enough. And
Well, I don't think they've saved enough per se, but in stage 2, we saw the winning strategy was to pit late and to take a splash of fuel only, and that worked out for both Finnegan and DeWeese to stay in the top 2 and win the stage there. So I'm not sure why you'd try anything different. We've seen a couple of the drivers that are pitting now taking tires, and that might be their gamble. And Brian Smith, one of those cars, on pit road right now.
I don't even know why I try anymore.
I think, like I said, I think he knows those guys are going to take that splash of fuel because that's what they did the last stage and it worked for him. So he comes in. Looks like he took 2 tires.
They're all on pit road.
Yeah, it's happening now.
They're all on pit road. Patrick Golby going to take control of the race here. Charles Woods, Zachary King, your top 3 so far. Cody Eldred in that 32 car. Brock Hersey in that 24 car.
Ooh, we are going to have a show here, Alan. Looks like Brian Smith took 2 tires. Nathan Finnegan took 2 tires, but Braxton DeWeese took just fuel, and that saved him 3.5 seconds.
I think that would be the move of the race.
So as we cycle through here, we should see DeWeese reassume the lead with a 3.5 second lead over Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan.
You know, we every time we try to figure out the fuel strategy or the pit strategy, they zig and we zag, or they zag
Ooh,
and we zag.
Contact there between
Whoa, we got the tire
Gilbert
switch.
and the 51.
Eldred's still making things happen.
Yeah,
Patinko's
he's
on.
28 laps into this run for him. Brock Hersey now in second place. He's 24 laps into his run.
You know, and here comes Eldred in that 32 car. You know, I think they know they don't probably have the car to win, but they do have the car to lead laps, and they get those laps led. You know, not everybody could be a front runner here in this league, and I think they kind of know that. Oh, Hersey gets a little out of shape. He might have wanted to go get some Dr. Feelgoods because those tires have turned to Dr. Real Bads.
Yeah, as you mentioned, nothing wrong with staying out to get that bonus point for leading a lap.
Yeah, anything can happen. I mean, you know, when we get to Talladega, anybody can. I feel like there's, 36 cars that could win that race. We're just inside of 20 laps to go. Braxton DeWeese finds himself just outside of a podium.
Yeah, Brian Smith eating into that gap behind him. Already under a second.
Well, if you're Brock Hersey or Anthony Tiseo or Robert Bloom, when do you pull the trigger and pull the proverbial parachute and say, you know what, I've got to come in this time by?
I mean, what have you got to lose? You're kind of hoping for a caution to help you keep some track position, get a better finish. I think you go as far as you can go, which would be another 8 laps here for Bluen. But another 20 for Tiseo. He might actually be able to make it because he pitted. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong number. I think Tiseo is going to have to pit in the next lap or two. Brock Hersey and Bluen, though, can go another 10 laps. And there he goes. Tiseo announcing he's going to be pitting this time.
I mean, almost if you're Brock Hersey, you almost got to take the gamble and see where it shakes out.
You know, he's getting in the wall a little bit there, though. That's not going to help his case.
Here comes Tiseo on the pit road with 17 to go. Not to wait, he's going to want that race to end. You know, the first stage got it going a little bit rocky. The second stage, was relatively clean. That's probably the second cleanest stage of the night.
Yeah, for sure. I think that first stage was the one with so much contact and people getting loose. Now everyone's kind of figured out what the car can do and what it can't. And
Find the
Brian
edge.
Smith and Nathan Finnegan have both gotten around DeWeese, and they are battling for that third place position.
I was going to say, find the edge and put Doritos over. And there you just see that interval just shrinking.
Yeah, those
from
two
Finnegan to
tires
Bloom.
really making a huge difference for the speed of the 6 and the 78 compared to the 8 car.
Well, right now, if you're Nathan Finnegan, you got you're 10 seconds back. That's the eyeball test right now, and that's what 10 seconds looks like. But the sands of the hourglass are definitely running out.
Yeah, I think Hersey and Robert both have to pit here before this is over. But they've got 7 more laps based on the longest anyone else has made it.
I'm kind of watching those two right now. Brock Hersey, Nathan Finnegan, as the 99 car, Robert pulls the trigger to head on down pit road. If you're Brock Hersey, you got to take the gamble with 14 laps to go. I mean, you're probably watching that fuel and the laps, fuel remaining and the laps to go.
Yeah, why not? Feels good to be out front in the lead. It'd be hard for me to come down pit road and give it up.
Well, here comes Nathan Finnegan for the lead.
No, I think he's still...
Oh, no, he's 6 seconds back. See, look, I just pulled the Steve Harvey.
Yeah, that was the 16 of Jennings. He was going by. Jennings 1 lap down.
Yeah, there's Brock Hersey.
Hearing some chatter on the radio. There's somebody with damage. Kyle Diaz out of the race.
Oh, no. Kyle Diaz has his fun meter pegged out for the night.
See if I can find what happened to him.
12 laps to go. Brock Hersey has made his bed. He's going to lie in it. I mean, if Brock makes it these last 10 laps, he looks like a genius. And then he picks up 23 spots. As you can see, Nathan Finnegan just eating away at that interval, about 4 seconds behind.
And I'm not sure. That might have been a technical issue for Diaz.
Hardware failure.
He just somewhat slowed down and then immediately ducked out of the race. I heard him saying something just before he exited, that he was broken.
10 laps to go. And, Shane, here he comes. He's going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, that was 38 laps. Oh, and he's going to catch a caution just as he enters pit road.
Abort.
Yeah, he's going to have to be really careful here and pay attention to whatever iRacing's telling him, whether pit road was closed or open. He might need to just drive through, not stop, come back under caution to not get a penalty.
And that's what he's going to do.
Also see that the 2 car out of the race. It must have been that caution.
Kendall Levron. Here we go. Oh.
Ooh.
And the slide for life.
Yeah, I think he just opted to say that's as far as I want to go. Bring it into the pits.
So we're going to come back out to the live shot. 9 laps to go. Wholesale pit stops. This is the money stop. And guess who's going to stay out? Jacob Smith.
Wow.
Zach Lockett. Kevin Gunther. And when we go back to green...
I'm surprised more people didn't try it. Most folks just 15, 16 laps on those tires. I am seeing Brock Hersey with a black flag. I think that pit road closed just as he was coming down, Just really bad luck on the timing.
You know, and he might be able to argue that black flag with race control, and say, hey, look, you know, I was already committed. Because once you hit that yellow cone, you're committed. You know, you don't want to get the unsafe. But I think it was a lose-lose situation for Brock Kersey.
Yeah.
But here we go. And we're going to go ahead and talk to Brian Smith. Brian, it's Alan and Shane up in the SRM Bridge. Got a copy.
Hey guys, yeah, I got you.
Hey, look, man. You got 8 laps to go. Right now you're sitting fourth. What's going to be the key to get up to put that 78 car on the podium and possibly in victory lane?
I think the game plan is just try and stay in front of the 6. That's really all I can do at this point. I just put 2 fresh tires on this thing, and it looks like everybody in front of me stayed out. So if I can get through turn 1 and 2 okay and not get caught up by a guy that stayed out, I think I got a shot at this. We'll have to see how it goes.
Well, good luck, man, and hopefully we'll be seeing you on the other side.
Thanks, guys.
And that was the Buddy Motorsports driver, Brian Smith, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. And
Yeah.
Shane?
As he mentioned, he put 2 tires on, but right behind him on the outside line is Finnegan. He put on 4. So we've got a cat, mouse, and dog, and maybe a lion game being played here. I'm not sure who's going to be in the best position. Who's going to have the speed? We've seen 2 tires be better than none. And for a while, for Tay McDonald, we saw 4 tires being better than 2, but it kind of caused some problems for the field. As we go back to green, Jacob Smith out front, getting a push from Kevin Gunther. Oh, and as they're going 3 wide already. 3 wide by 3 wide.
There it is, 3 wide.
Contact. Just a little door slam with Bentley Glazer down on the apron. He comes back up on the track, no problem.
Jacob
Finnegan and Smith are side by side.
Jacob Smith just got to hold on for 6 laps.
And Braxton Deweese is in 3rd.
Look at Braxton come up to the field. Holy cow.
And he's got a head of steam as he comes up to push Jacob Smith. Michael Taylor down low.
Braxton's going to the wall. Finnegan's going to get a little bit sideways. Please stay green.
This is incredible racing with 5 to go. Deweese split in the middle.
5 phalanges in the air. Here we go. 4 laps to go. Here comes Deweese on the inside. He's in the middle of the proverbial sandwich.
Woo.
Give that lead to Deweese.
He's got it. Something happened to Finnegan. He's dropped all the way to 15th. Brian Smith still in 4th. As Deweese holds the lead, but Michael Taylor getting a run off exit.
We got trouble. We got trouble.
Brian Smith in the wall.
Deweese makes contact with Taylor. Coming 3 laps to go.
Oh,
no, we got a yellow.
Another yellow.
And that's going to trigger overtime. Let's see what happened here. Oh, John McNeil just loose pancakes the wall.
It looks like he already has damage there.
And I'm sure the truck's going to find me the sequence of events leading up to this.
Oof.
As all the Deweese fans in the YouTube.com live chat, which we appreciate every single one of you guys, go ahead and make sure you smash that like, smash that subscribe, and by golly, get those bells ringing so we can see great action every Sunday night from the Icon Cup Series and from all the great programming here on Sim Racing Media. Chris Deweese saying, woohoo, bring it home, baby.
Oof.
I think Chris is actually Braxton's spotter.
Yeah, so again, I'm peeking at those pit times. Deweese got 4 tires, and it just really paid off for him on that last stop. Jacob Smith holding in 3rd, though, after staying out. Zach Lockett in 5th after staying out. Brian Smith in 4th. He had those 2 tires. Michael Taylor battling with Deweese. He is on 2 tires. This is just such a hodgepodge of tire strategy here. All of them looking like the potential winner. Who's it going to be?
All right, Shane, for the viewers at home, explain how overtime works.
Well, they call it a green-white checker or overtime in NASCAR. If the race can't get underway with at least 2 green flag laps to go, NASCAR will extend the number of laps that they'll run so that they can do just that. 2 laps of green flag finish. If there is a caution to come out on the first of those 2 laps, we will re-rack them and go to a second overtime. Icon does up to 3 green-white checkers to finish the race, but if there is a wreck or anything after the white flag is out, we are going to race back to the finish on that final lap. No caution, and that's when it can really get exciting. So if you're the leader, you really are racing back to try and take that white flag, because you know if anything happens after that, hopefully you can cruise back to the start-finish line and take it home for victory.
Chris DeWeese checking in, saying if we win this, we're headed to Jane's on Main Street to celebrate wine slushies. I love slushies. You can send mine to the booth at simracingmedia.com. I'll take the virtual one. Braxton Deweese, Michael Taylor on the front row here. So we get ready to go overtime racing. Get ready and buckle up because, well, it's going to get cranked up to crazy. And then a little bit further on. Shane, this is your sandbox. Bring us back to green.
Here we go. This might be the last time we come back to the green flag as pace truck is off. We hit that Geico restart zone. Jacob Smith giving a nice push to Braxton Deweese. He jumps out to a 2-car length lead. So the guys behind him are side by side. Jacob Smith, Michael Taylor. Brian Smith also looking high to try to get up there.
Whoa! Brian Smith, hang on to her, buddy. And we got a melee in the back.
Woo! There it is. Going to overtime number 2.
Chris Deweese and those slushies are going to hang on for a couple more laps. As there's a pile up here. Oh, man.
Yeah, can we see that again? I didn't quite see how it started. Smith on the radio feeling like he got run over.
Well, here we are. We're going to break the 4th wall. And then
95.
let's go on board. Yep, that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go on board with the number 95 car. Here's what Charlie Widener saw. Gets into the back of the Deweese and around he goes.
Yeah, or Brian Smith, that is, in the 78. I mean, this is kind of one of those moments where you're getting a run. It's 2 laps to go, and you see that 78 checking up in front of you, and you're just hoping that he's gonna, get it back going again. I think Brian got a little loose once, checked up, and then got loose again and had to get out of the throttle. And the cars behind him not willing to lift themselves. Like I said, with 2 laps to go, it's hard to make that decision.
I mean, track position's everything, but Brian Smith, what a run he's had. His night goes from bad to worse. As he is still on pit road.
Yeah, Kevin Gunther also involved in that one. He's got a meatball flag on pit road getting some repairs. Sean Purcell on pit road. Nathan Brzezowski, all making repairs right now. As we mentioned, John McNeil, I think he was in there from that previous caution. He's also on pit road getting repairs. And like we said, we're going to rack them and stack them one more time. Overtime number 2. Same rules apply. Caution comes out on that first lap. We're going to do it again.
We might see a second verse, same as the first, as we had several drivers tonight have their fun meters spec'd out. Let's go over those real quick, as it looks like Ryan Patty will win the race to the beer stand tonight. I stand corrected. John Ross, after 32 laps, will have his fun meter pegged out for the night. Tay McDonald will have his fun meter pegged out, as will Cody Neal, Chris Camburn, Hanover Fisk, Kyle Diaz, Kendall Leveron, and Hollingsworth will have their fun meters all pegged out. But Ryan Patty, someone's got to win that race at the beer stand. Might as well be Ryan Patty.
Well, I'm showing Ryan is technically still in the race on pit road, trying to get that car back on track maybe. But yeah, all those other names you mentioned are out of the race.
I don't think it'll make much sense for him to get back on pit road with 3 to go.
It's a matter of principle, Alan.
Well, I tell you what's a matter of principle too, and that's going to be Braxton DeWeese. Now, the YouTube.com live chat, Chris DeWeese, spotter, says there's going to be one hell of a party if Braxton DeWeese pulls this off. So we're going to find out in 2 short laps if that's going to hold true or not. Michael Taylor, Braxton DeWeese on the button, and we are back to Great Flag Racing. 2 laps to go.
Almost an identical restart there as Jacob Smith gives DeWeese a nice bump, pushing him out into the lead with Michael Taylor following in second. Jacob going to slide up in front of Zach Lockett to secure the 3rd position. They scrape the wall just a little bit, but keep going.
Braxton DeWeese looks like he's going to come off turn number 2. Or 3 and 4, the popsicle sticks go down the white flag comes out, and we are racing back to checkers.
Yeah, we've got it. We're not going to be doing any more overtimes now. All comes down to Braxton DeWeese and Michael Taylor coming out of turn 2. And watch the sunset behind him.
We got trouble, but it's not going to matter. Because into turns 3 and 4 comes Braxton DeWeese. Out of
Taylor's
turn.
setting it in deep, but he's not going to get there. Braxton DeWeese takes home his first victory of the season here at Icon.
Wow. You know what? And he sets the fastest lap in the race doing it, too.
That is impressive. A 32.8. Saving the best for last. Yeah, I think it's going to be too long of a drive for me to make it down to Janes on Main in Miami's Ohio. But I'm sure Braxton and all his fans here in the YouTube chat are going to be partying tonight.
Braxton DeWeese going to park it on the front straightaway and get ready to burn it down. There we go. Braxton, celebrate that one, buddy.
Oh, I do that. Let's give this burnout a grade. That looks like a perfect circle there. Right over the checkered start finish line. That's a 9 out of 10. Oh, I was going to say now he's going to do some straight burnout. That makes it a 10 out of 10 for me.
While he burns it down, Shane, we're going to bring him up into the booth and let you have a conversation with tonight's race winner.
Braxton, you got Shane and Alan in the booth. You got a copy.
I got you.
How about that? You survived the carnage, multiple green-white checkers, fuel strategy, tire strategy, door bagging. Tell us how you did it.
Oh, man, just, getting tires there at the ends. Just being able to get tires there at the end, I put myself in a situation to where I didn't take tires at that green flag stop, and they passed us and we were in third, and we were sitting duck, and we were going to finish third, if not fourth or fifth, because we had a couple other fellows coming up on us, but we caught that lucky caution, and someone hopped into the voice chat before, and he asked how many tires I took. I said 2, but I forgot I took 4 there. So just I didn't really know what was going to happen. Didn't really expect too much. Was kind of hoping for the best, being there on the inside line. Granted, we had 3 cars in front of us. The leader was still the jump car, so I felt pretty good about that. Usually the speed was pretty good on the first lap down low. I know a lot of guys will move up and they'll go up the track in turn 3. I'm not expecting to let off that much, so that happened a little bit. We were able to get a good run and be able to get to P3 coming out of turn 4 after that. Coming to finish the first lap, if I could ever get it out. But I felt pretty good, and with the tire situation that we had with the fellas around us. I know Brian was a couple spots behind us, and Nathan was about a spot behind him or something, and they unfortunately got into an accident, which was unfortunate because, like I said, they had me. They were first and second before that late race caution. It was a fun race all in all, and to be able to keep it clean, and pretty good points day as well, finishing second and first in the 2 stages. So, all in all, a very, very good day for myself.
Yeah, really, really good. Congratulations. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about the tires because we saw at the end of stage 2, you and the other leaders, I believe, just taking a splash of fuel, and that worked out to help get the stage win. Then later on, you take the splash again and kind of get run over by those guys on 2 tires. And then in the final stage, ends up being 4 tires. That's the winning move. I'm just amazed at how adaptable all the drivers were tonight to keep trying to find that chess move to get them in the right position at the end. Congrats again. Anybody you want to give some shout outs and thanks to?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a big shout out to Jane's on main on the call. Before the race, my dad let me know that Jane herself said if we were to win, that drinks were free and they were on her. So looks like we're going to go to Jane's on main. Granted, it's a Sunday night. We got some work tomorrow. We're going to take it easy. But, hey, we're getting a reward. So we'll be smart about it, but also take a reward. So, that's pretty cool that she did that. And I think we're going to go there. I'm not too sure. I mean, why not if they're down there? But, big shout out to them over there, as well as Interstate 4, Downs Arts Images, 3 Dips Ice Cream Shop, Bennett's Publical, Deweese Renovations, Adrenaline Captures, Booth 34 Diecast, Short Track Report, Scrum and Tires Media, Blaze Designs. They're the secondary for this season, so we'll have a Blaze Designs car out there at some point. But also big thanks to Evan Pinetta Designs, Chance 3 Design Shop, and Bully Dog Coffee Company. If you go over there and you see any coffee that you like, you want to try over at Bully Dog, use Brax5 in the checkout for a discount code. You get 10% off over there. So any discounts always nice, especially nowadays with everything just getting more expensive. And if you want to buy coffee online, it's not necessarily a need, but if you need it, then there you go. Get you a little bit of a discount. But I appreciate everybody that supports the number 8 Ford Mustang here. Pretty cool to be able to get our first win. We've had some pretty good pace, just haven't been able to complete a fully smooth, complete race like we did tonight. So hopefully there's more to come with this, but, just got to put in the time and be smart about it.
Yeah, congratulations again on the win. We had a blast watching everybody race here tonight. And we'll see you the rest of the season.
Thank you, Shane and Alan. Y'all have a great rest of your week.
You too.
And that was the voice of Braxton Deweese. Next up for his interview, the driver to finish second. Not quite there, but Michael Taylor. What a run that you had regardless. And take us to that last lap and where you needed to get by Braxton Deweese.
Yeah, it was decided to go for only right side tires in the pits. It sounded like he didn't take any at all, so I guess we were kind of close to equal playing ground. Just couldn't get him. He was just a little bit too quick. I tried the high line and 1 and 2 on the last lap to try something, but his tires were still too good, so he got stuck up on the low line.
Yeah, absolutely. And next week we head to Martinsville. What's going to be your strategy as we head to a short track and then we head to the high banks of Darlington? What's going to be your strategy for the next couple of weeks?
Not sure. Probably a lot of practice. I actually haven't driven either of those tracks yet, so it's going to be probably a big learning curve. I don't think the next gen would be very fun on a short track either, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, look, man, I just want to rattle something off to you. You finished 20 spots ahead of where you started from. So, before I let you, before I ask you the next question, how does that feel knowing that you were able to pick up 20 spots?
Felt good. I mean, it started, back in like the 20th position. I got all the way up to second, and then just got caught up in multiple incidents. So it was up to second, down 15th, back up to fifth. It was a hell of a night, but it felt good. I was glad to be able to save tires enough to get up there up front.
Look, man, before we get you out of here, who do you want to thank that helped you get you here tonight?
Oh, just the usual. Mom, dad, brother. I think they're probably watching this broadcast. Girlfriend, Callie, and grandparents are watching it as well. So got some regular viewers.
All right, man. Well, once again, congratulations on that P2 finish, and go celebrate with your buddy Motorsports teammates.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you. Have a good night.
And that was the voice of Michael Taylor. Shane, last but not least, Jacob Smith rounding out your podium here tonight. Jacob, it's Alan and Shane in the SRM booth. You got a copy?
Yep, got a copy.
Oh, my apologies, Alan. I was on mute and didn't realize it. Jacob, we saw you running up front. We saw you get pushed back in the middle of the pack for a while. I heard you on the radio a lot tonight giving some guys, we'll just say you were giving them some tips. Tell us a little bit about your night.
Yeah, that was definitely a tough one. Me and Brian were saving tire to start the race. Got passed by about half the field, so we realized saving tire wasn't really the move. Got back up to either the top 4 or top 5. Car that stayed out kind of screwed me up. I got punted, got sent back to 22nd. Had to drive my way back through the field even during green flag pit stops, and then just stayed out at the end to keep track position. So staying out at the end definitely paid off.
Yeah, we saw a lot of tire strategy. At what point in the race did you kind of pick out, hey, this is the one I want? It's 2 tires, it's 4 tires, it's no tires, and here's when I'm going to use it.
Yeah, great question. We thought Finnegan was going to burn his stuff up on the first stage, and turned out just having clean air was almost more valuable than having better tires. So after the first stage, it was just a push mode, and after that, it was just trying to crawl my way back up through each restart after getting shuffled at the back a couple times.
Yeah, you also looked like you were getting some really good jumps there on the restart. We saw you give Braxton a push on both green-white checkers. Just a great run to kind of finish up there in the podium. Too bad you couldn't get the victory, but anybody you want to give a shout-out to or some thanks?
Yeah, just shout out to my teammates. They were running great all night. Mike had a hell of a finish. Brian got taken out at the end, unfortunately, but other than that, I just want to shout out the Midwest Euro Parts Hot Rod. It was quick tonight, and hopefully we get another podium or a win here soon.
Awesome. Well, congrats again on P3 here at Homestead. What are you going to have for them next week at Martinsville?
Martinsville's always a toss-up. I'm fully prepared to get rear-ended and killed, so if I finish, I think I'll consider that a win.
All right. Well, good luck next week, and congrats again on the P3 finish here at Homestead.
Thanks, guys.
Well, Shane, another one here in the books here as we rocket all the way to the playoffs. And next week, the schedule's only going to get harder and harder as we get through the season. But nonetheless, before we get out of here, let's take care of some housekeeping notes. There we go. Wrong one. There we go. Right one. Braxton DeLeese is going to park it at Victory Lane, with Michael Taylor going to finish second. Jacob Smith is going to round out your podium. Adam Ball is going to finish fourth, while Zach Lockett going to round out your top 5. 6th, 7th, and 8th will go to Brad Delph, Patrick Colby, and Zachary King, while Cody Eldred and Charlie Widener round out your top 10. Bailey Glazer will finish 11th, while Robert Bloom will finish in that 12th position. Kyle Purcell will finish 13th, while Nathan Finnegan, had a strong night, will finish 14th. Anthony Tiseo will finish 15th, while 16th to go to Sean Purcell, 17th to go to Steve Tuck, and Nathan Bronzowski will finish 18th. 19th to go to Michael Jennings, and rounding out your top 20 will be Brian Smith. 21st to go to Evan Patinko. Brock Hersey will go to 22nd. 23rd will go to Kyle Gilbert. Ethan Van Colley will finish 24th. 25th will go to Kevin Gunther, while Charles Woods will finish 26th. John McNeil almost tried to channel his inner Jimmy Johnson, but came up 27 spots short, or 26 spots short. Hollinsworth will finish in that 28th position, while Kendall Levron will finish 28th, or 29th rather, as I am tripping. Kyle Diaz will round out your top 30 finishers, while Hanover Fist will finish 31st. 32nd will go to Chris Camburn. Cody Neal will finish 33rd. 34th will go to Newton, Iowa's Tay McDonald. John Ross will finish 35th. And winning the race to the beer stand tonight will be the ECR driver of Ryan Patty. Those are the way your top 36 drivers finished. Shane, it's been fun. It's been real. It's been a blast. And, once again, we want to wish Johnson Leach to get well soon. I've had a blast. I know you had a blast. Any closing thoughts before we pack this thing up and hit the road?
I was just going to say, if you leave St. Louis and I leave Richmond, we ought to hit Jane's on Main just about the same time in about 30 hours or so. Maybe they'll save us a seat.
I think they'll be long gone in 30 hours. I mean, look, I'm up for a road trip, but not tonight, buddy. Meanwhile, for everybody here at SRM and Icon, I'm Alan Bergen. He's Shane Cochran. And as you walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.